Chapter 1. Emma is upset. Emma is 17 years old. She works in a bakery in the small town of Riverdale. Emma likes bread and cakes, and she likes her job. But after work, she loves to sing in the Riverdale Music Club. The club holds 6 concerts every year, and Emma sings in most of them. Some songs are fun and some songs are famous. This week, the club is singing The Sound of Music. Many people are coming to watch. Emma thinks, I must sing well. Jake is 18 years old. He is a student at Riverdale College and he likes writing. One day, he wants to write songs for musicians and movies. One day, I want to be famous, he thinks. Riverdale has a newspaper called the Riverdale Weekly. Jake's Aunt Sarah is the editor. One morning, she calls Jake. Do you want to write a review of The Sound of Music? For the newspaper, Jake, she asks. Yes, please, Aunt Sarah, Jake says. Thanks for asking me. That evening, he goes to Riverdale Hall to watch the concert. Jake sits at the front and takes out his notebook and pen. The audience is big. 5 minutes later, the concert begins. Emma sings the part of Maria. She knows all the words and sings beautifully. Jake watches her. She is very pretty and she sings well, he thinks. But she is a young girl playing an older woman. Everyone knows it. He starts writing in his notebook. 2 hours later, the concert ends and the audience leaves. Jake goes home and writes his review for the newspaper. It was a good concert. But what can I say about the girl playing Maria? He thinks. I want to be kind, but I must be honest. On Friday, Emma reads Jake's review in the Riverdale Weekly. Emma Clarke plays Maria. She has a lovely voice and sings beautifully. But she is a young girl in an older woman's dress and we all know it. She cannot make me believe otherwise. Emma is upset. She looks at the name under the review. Jake Carter. Who is this Jake Carter? She thinks. What does he know about singing? Chapter 2. Emma has a plan. On Tuesday evening, Emma and her friend Lily are drinking tea at the Riverdale Cafe. Lily is a student at Riverdale College. Sometimes in the evenings, she and Emma meet at the cafe. Suddenly, Emma sees a boy sitting at a table across the room. Who is that boy? She asks Lily. Lily laughs. Do you like him? He has a nice face. What's his name? Emma asks. Jake. I see him at the college often, Lily says. Jake, Emma says. Jake Carter? Yes, Lily says. Emma is furious. Jake Carter, she says. Why? Lily asks. He writes reviews for the Riverdale Weekly, Emma says. That's right, Lily says. His aunt is the editor. She stops and looks at Emma. Oh, the review of The Sound of Music. Yes, Emma says. Emma Clarke plays Maria. She has a lovely voice and sings beautifully. But she is a young girl in an older woman's dress and we all know it. Emma repeats the words angrily. Nice face or not, I hate him. Lily laughs. Okay, go and tell him, she says. Go and say, I hate you, Jake Carter. You write stupid reviews. Emma isn't laughing. Yes, all right, she says. She stands up, but suddenly she stops. What's wrong? Lily asks. Are you afraid? No, Emma says. I have a better idea. Does he come to this cafe often? Every Tuesday and Thursday evening, Lily says. He has a writing class and comes here after. Emma thinks for a minute. That's interesting, she says. Why? Lily asks. What are you thinking? Am I a good actress? Emma asks. Yes, you are, Lily says. But why? Emma smiles. I'm a good actress, and I want to prove it to Mr. Jake Niceface Carter. How? Lily asks. Emma leans in and whispers her plan. Chapter 3. A tricky interview. On Thursday, Jake goes to the Riverdale Cafe after class. He orders a coffee and starts reading a book. A few minutes later, a woman walks in. She is carrying a magazine under her arm. At first, Jake doesn't see her. Then she comes to his table. "Hello," she says. "Are you Jake Carter?" Jake is surprised. "Yes, that's me." The woman smiles. "Can I sit here?" "Of course," Jake says. "My name is Kate Lawson," she says. "I'm the editor of Star magazine. Do you know it?" She puts the magazine on the table. "Yes, I do," Jake says. "It's a magazine about famous people." "That's right," Kate says. "Do you want to do an interview for it?" "An interview?" Jake asks. "Yes," she says, "with a famous singer." "He lives in Riverdale?" "Daniel Wright, the singer?" Jake asks. "That's right," she says. "But he never talks to magazines like yours," Jake says. "He doesn't like gossip reporters." Kate laughs. "Are you afraid?" she says. "Good writers do difficult interviews. You want to write songs, don't you? Maybe he can teach you something." Jake thinks. She's right. "Maybe I can learn from him." "Okay," he says. "When?" "Tomorrow morning," Kate says. "But don't tell him it's for Star magazine until you get inside." "Okay," Jake says. Chapter 4. Outside the house. That night, Emma tells Lily about her plan. "I told him I'm Kate Lawson. And now he's going to interview Daniel Wright," Emma laughs. "But Daniel Wright never does interviews," Lily says. "I know, and I want to see his face when Daniel throws him out," Emma says. The next morning, Jake walks up to Daniel Wright's house. "I don't like Star magazine, but this is important," he thinks. Emma follows him quietly. She is wearing glasses and a wig. She hides behind a tree and watches. Jake knocks on the door. When Daniel opens it, Jake says quickly, "Hello, mister." "Right, I'm Jake Carter and I want to write songs." Daniel looks at him. "You do?" he says. "I also write reviews for the Riverdale Weekly," Jake adds. "And what do you want from me?" Daniel asks. "Can I ask you some questions?" Jake asks. "Why?" Daniel asks. "For the Riverdale Weekly?" Jake thinks. Do I tell him the truth or a lie? Then he decides. "It's for Star magazine," he says. Daniel Wright looks at him for a moment. "Come inside," he says suddenly. Emma watches in shock. Wait, he's not throwing him out, she thinks. Why? Chapter 5. The truth comes out. Emma hides behind a tree and waits. Daniel Wright never talks to gossip reporters, she thinks. Why is Jake still inside? What are they talking about? She remembers Jake's review of The Sound of Music. She remembers his words about her acting. She wants to see his face when Daniel Wright throws him out of the house. But time passes. 15 minutes. 30 minutes. An hour. Emma grows impatient. This is strange, she thinks. What is happening in there? Finally, after an hour and a half, the door opens. Daniel Wright and Jake step outside, both smiling. What? Emma whispers. They're smiling? Jake shakes Daniel's hand. Thank you, Mr. Wright, he says. I've learned a lot. Good luck with your songwriting, Jake, Daniel says. Keep working hard. Daniel waves and goes back inside. Jake turns and walks down the path. But then he sees Kate Lawson waiting for him. Oh, hello, he says nervously. Hello, Emma says. She tries to sound serious. So, did you get your interview? Jake shakes his head. No, he says. Mister, Wright doesn't talk to gossip magazines. But we talked about music. About writing songs. He gave me some great advice. Emma frowns. Advice, she says. Yes, Jake says. He told me how to write better songs. He even wants to hear my music one day. Emma crosses her arms. So, no interview for Star magazine? She asks. Jake laughs. No. I have some notes, but my real story is for the Riverdale Weekly, he says. And I know a lot more about songwriting now. Emma stares at him. She is both confused and impressed. Oh, well, good for you, she says. Jake smiles. Are you angry? He asks. Emma laughs suddenly. No, she says. I'm not angry. Then she does something surprising. She reaches up, pulls off her wig, and takes off her glasses. Jake stares at her. "You're not Kate Lawson," he says. Emma grins. "That's right," she says. "I'm Emma Clark, a 17-year-old girl in an older woman's costume, Mr. Jake Niceface Carter." Jake's face turns red. "Oh," he says. "It was a trick." "Yes," Emma says, laughing. "I wanted to see Daniel Wright throw you out." Jake laughs too. "Well, that didn't happen," he says. "And you really fooled me." Emma smiles. "So? Do you believe I'm a good actress now?" she asks. Jake nods. "Yes," he says. "And I'm going to write that in the Riverdale Weekly." Emma raises an eyebrow. "Oh, a good review this time?" she asks. "Yes," Jake says. "And thanks to you, I met Daniel Wright. He's going to help me with my songwriting." He pauses. "Hey, want to get some coffee? My treat." Emma thinks for a moment. Free coffee," she says. "Well, I can't say no to that." She smiles, and together they walk toward the Riverdale Cafe. The end.